pipeline investments, obviously if the shale gas resources are being developed, the gas needs to go somewhere. The US has got, I think, 40,000 kilometers of pipelines. China has significantly less. So the gas needs to go to the demand centers. And that's, at the moment, that can't take place because you need the pipelines. To be fair, China, again, is quite good at infrastructure development. We see it on the power side as well, in the sense that if they need transmission capacity built, they will get it built, but it will take a bit of time. So that's an important point. There are some gas pricing reforms taking place, and I think that's quite important given that gas prices give an incentive for the large companies to do development. So gas prices have recently been raised to kind of around $9. So the city gate price is somewhere between $8 to $10, depending on where you are. But obviously, if you have to get LNG from the open market at 15 or 14 or 13, Russia doesn't sell it to you below $12 or $13. You have got an incentive to look at your own domestic resources. And even if it costs twice the amount as in the US, which means that it's probably $8 a million BTU, then it's still worthwhile doing because it's domestic and you don't pay anyone else to do it. So how much would shale gas cost in the US? There's loads of price ranges for this. And given that there's not an awful lot of development, there's very little that we can say about it. But the cost of production in the US is somewhere around $3 to $6. In the UK, if we look at several scenarios and consider the supply chain there, it's anywhere between 7 and 13. And China, it's likely to, it can be anywhere, but some of the calculations that we've done is around 7 to 13 as well. And here you can see the number of shale gas wells that have actually been fracked and how much catching up China has to do compared to the US. So what does this mean for Asian gas prices? Obviously, shale gas in the US can be exported to Asia through LNG. These are some of the export terminals that have been approved in the US. 80 million tons per annum. If they all get built, will be going to the market. A lot of which will end up in the Asian, around the Asian continent. Demand and supply balance is quite tight over the next few years. But as you can see from the area chart here, there's a lot of supply coming online. The shaded areas are those that haven't reached their final investment decision. So essentially, our conclusion is that beyond 2015, 2016, there'll be a lot more supply coming onto the market. Obviously, if there's supply, in principle, there's a lot of demand around the Asian region. So if it comes at a reasonable price, it'll be utilized, provided it's there. So I'll wrap up there. Question is Asia gas prices. Obviously, an Asian gas price doesn't exist, but there is a little bit of a spot price marker. And the question is, what do gas prices do in the end? But let me wrap up here and essentially say that tight gas. Don't forget about tight gas because that's the biggest play at the moment in terms of unconventional resources in China. CBM is important as well. Shale gas is a lot further away. It's got a huge amount of potential, can develop very quickly. There's lots of challenges in China, as we know, and costs won't be low. But at least, if it gets developed, it's likely to be lower than current LNG prices that we see in the market and that we expect in the market for the foreseeable future. LNG supply from the US on the back of all the shale gas development certainly will put pressure, at least put downward pressure on prices, and we've already seen that with contract structures changing and more flexibility being built into the contracts. So I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, Our company, Bloomberg New Energy Finance, does a lot of analysis. We're part of Bloomberg. We produce reports and data across the power sector, mainly focused on the disruptive technologies out there, including PV and wind, as well as smart grid and shale gas and gas developments. So if you have any questions, these are my contact details, or if you have any questions, let me know now. So thank you very much.